Hey Sapphire, thanks for posting the smaller file. It just keeps timing out when it's over like probably about 50 or 60 megabytes. So yeah. So anyway, yeah, it's looking good. I really like this kind of funny personality that the images are creating. So the first thing I do want to point out is that you need to use layer masks for all of these layers. You don't want to miss points on that. You've done it here and a few of them, but you need to really use them on all the images, even the extra ones. And the reason this is that it's just best practice, and this is kind of industry standard. So a few things I just kind of I can't really see what they are. And there's just a few things that don't really make sense, and these gloves really kind of don't make sense. So you might want to just add, there's so many other objects you could use for this, so you might want to add, change this. I'm really not sure what these legs are either. So, because everything else looks really great. I'm going to put all of these in one folder by just selecting them. Let me move this up a little bit so you can see. I'm going to select all of these, and then I'm going to just click this folder here. So now here they all are, so you can really move them around and work with them. So I also would suggest that you change some of the size ratios. I would probably move up the legs so they're not as long, just so this main part could be bigger, because I think that so let me see here, body, arm, this main part with the hot dog and the face, it's going to be hard to see these little details. So I would probably just make the legs shorter, so we can zoom in on this, because when you look at this, this is barely even a quarter of the screen, and that's the main event. So so what I'm going to do is put these let's see here, hat, eyes, feet. No, not the feet. I'm not going to put in there, so I'm going to move those down there. I'm just going to select all of these again and then put them in another folder so I can size it. So again, I'm just going to click the folder here, and I want to make sure I did it right there. So anyway, I would suggest just making this bigger. So it's really not that hard to do. Just so they can be seen more. Maybe this might be too big, but now that's probably a little bit big, but see, still, you can still see that this is still going to be really hard to see what it is. So you might just want to continue working with some of the idea. You can probably shorten this up, and it might not lose, the hot dog part. Let's see. Where's the bun? Let's see now. Extra. This also doesn't read well, and there's a few little issues with the way it sits there. So you can see it's a little bit sloppy, the selections, and also some of this needs to be cleaned up. And you can see that you've got some high resolution images here, but see the difference in the quality when, let's really zoom in. So you've got the high res here, and the peppers look great, but when you start to get bigger and the hat looks great, see how low resolution the hot dog bun and the hot dog is compared to the rest of them. That's really kind of important for consistency, because you really want to be able to print this out. So you might want to look for some other images. You could also find an image that doesn't just have this head-on hot dog, the one-point perspective. I was thinking of something more from a little bit of a side, that was a little bit of a lower angle. So, and again, then you can turn it around, but then you're not going to have such a long hot dog. Even something like this is going to be, a little bit, less long. If you use something from the internet, though, be sure to mouse over them. Even this one, that's really high resolution, that 39 100 pixels. So even something like this is going to look a lot better than what you already have. So you might want to continue, looking, and it's a very normal process to go in and out of, working with the images. And let me see. I was going to just look at this one, and I can't find the hot dog. Oh, I see. It's all one thing. So I'm just going to try this because often when you do these kinds of things, it looks too distorted. But whenever you size something, if you do the free transform tool, which is Command or Control T, if you hold Shift key down and size it, it's going to constrain it. But if you don't, it's not going to constrain it. And I'm just going to look to see what it would look like a little bit fatter. And for this particular image, it really doesn't make that much difference if you scrunch it up a little bit. Let me see what this one, this cheese piece here, if I can get it. I'm going to do the same thing with it. See, these images, since they're not really distorting when you do that. But so those are my main suggestions because you have some great details here. It's just going to be really hard for all of these to really stand out once you start, working on putting everything together in a background. So I would suggest something else besides this cheese. I would suggest anything else. Even if something like squiggly ketchup or onions. Just the cheese. It doesn't really look like cheese. I mean, if you could make it look like that, it would just be more beneficial. So yeah, I would just continue looking. Like I think even some style like this, I think would actually look pretty good because the bun is really quite aesthetic. And then you could put your face right here. And again, this is really a big image, so you could probably get away with it. No, that's not so good. So anyway, just some pointers here. And you are going to be refining some of these details later anyway, but so the main suggestions, need to get all these layer masks done. I would look for something else for the arms. You could even use something like, a whole chili like this, but a green one or something, or I would think in terms of color too. And I like the spatulas, so those are okay, but I don't know what this object is. Again, this makes it look, it's not related, so it's just a little bit confusing. Okay, so anyway, and again, you of course continue to work on all of the eyes and stuff. You can make everything bigger. It's not like you have to keep, you could exaggerate it. So where's those chili eyes? And I really would suggest having them separate so you could, stylize them more. But I mean, there's nothing wrong with making them a lot bigger. We're not trying to make something look super realistic here, are we? So, and then where's those little peppers? And again, if you put these peppers on different layers, then you can really do more with them. So you could, you can give them some more personality. You could, tip them higher and lower. You could do all kinds of stuff to them. I'm just to quickly show you with one of these. I'm just going to select this. And I'm going to copy it and put it on another, put it on another layer real quick here. So, for example, now I've got one, so now I can rotate it. Whoops. And I can give it some personality. So now you've got, again, I'd have to delete, I'll turn these other ones off. So now, you can actually make it look happy. You can make it look, mad. You can do all kinds of stuff with it. You can continue to rotate it, like this. So there's so many different ways you can, you can do this. But I would keep everything on separate layers. And again, I would make it bigger because it's just too hard to see. You could also use a different color if you wanted to. But again, if you make this stuff bigger, it's just going to be more readable. I really love the hat too. So so overall, you're off to a really good start. I would just suggest a little bit more work on the areas that I've mentioned. Okay, so yeah, good progress. And you know, most students have to go and get images several times throughout the term. The graphic design process is about editing, and you know, adding, removing, getting feedback, changing, you know, etc. Okay.